This week on the Midweek Message, we're going to talk about how to live a Christian life in an unchristian world. Hey everyone, welcome to the Midweek Message, your midweek encouragement to help you grow in your relationship with the Lord. My name's Brett, and I pray that during this time we'll be able to help you grow in your relationship with God, and really that you'll be able to use what we speak about here in your daily life. And today we're going to be talking about a very important topic, especially for us here in the South, and that is this idea of living a Christian life in an unchristian world. Living a Christian life in an unchristian world. And you may be thinking, Brett, why is that important for us here in the South? I mean, we live in the Bible Belt, right? Like, things are great here. But the reality is a bit different, because if we look at studies and we look at the numbers and we look at the culture at large, in America especially, but you can also look out through Europe and the rest of the world, we find that the trend is that Christianity is growing smaller and smaller. And this cultural Christianity that has enraptured the South for so long is starting to erode away as more and more people just kind of decide, hey, you know what, I'm not going to even pretend to be something I'm not. It's just not worth my time. And instead are just doing their own thing. And, you know, there are good things and bad things about that. I mean, obviously, we don't want to see churches dying. We don't want to see people leaving the faith. But we also want those who are true believers to rise up. We want the true believers to be representatives of God each and everywhere that they go. But what that means is that we're going to be in the midst of this unchristian culture around us. And while we may not be completely there just yet, I can assure you that it's probably coming. And so how do we handle ourselves in this unchristian world where Christian beliefs are often seen as bigoted, hateful, or irrational? That's a hard question to answer. But today I want to start off with 2 ways that you can live a Christian life in an unchristian world. And we'll do 2 more next week. So 2 ways that you can live a Christian life in an unchristian world. The first way is this: have a group of like-minded believers to fall back on. Have a group of like-minded believers to fall back on. Listen, living this Christian life, it can be really exhausting and just defeating if you're trying to lone wolf it. You know, we're not the Lone Ranger out there. You know, you and Tonto just going and taking on the world. Like, that's not what God has called us to be as Christians. He has called us to unite together and have a group of like-minded believers that even when we go to work and we're surrounded by people who may not believe what we do, we can still have a group of friends back home, or maybe a group of friends at church that come around us and encourage us and support us and help us. If we surround ourselves only with non-believers, we cannot assume ourselves to grow in our relationship with God or to live out a Christian life in that unchristian world in the best way possible. So if I'm being honest, I kind of have a bit of a sweet tooth. I love desserts, and it's a problem, I'll admit. I'm getting better at controlling myself. But I've been a bit jealous of one of my students because he's decided he wants to go on a diet, and for the past few months I've noticed, like, even on Wednesday nights or when we go on a trip and there's sweets everywhere, he just says, no, I'm good. And I'm like, dude, as I'm eating this pie, right, like, you missing out, you know? But with my sweet tooth, if I wanted to go on a diet like him, it would be really unwise of me to go to a dessert buffet, right? Like, that is not going to help me with my diet. That's not going to help me get to where I want to be. And in the same way, if we only surround ourselves with non-Christians, we're not going to be uplifted. We're going to be brought down. We're going to be brought and destroyed by the things that are around us. I had a guy I knew growing up. He had grown up in church with me. I mean, he was always there. His parents are always there. His parents are still faithful in church. But when he got into high school, he started drifting away and just kind of doing his own thing. And you'd hear him say things that you're like, where's that coming from? I know you didn't learn that at home. Like, you didn't hear that at church. Like, why are you saying these things that just don't seem to line up with what a Christian would believe? And so years went by, and by the time he was a senior in high school, we found that he was back to being faithful. He loved the Lord. He was doing all the things. And I asked him one day, I said, man, what happened back then? What was the deal when you were a freshman? Why are you acting like that? And his words were this: I surrounded myself with a group of people who didn't believe what I believed and didn't care about God. And when I did that, instead of them being changed by me, I was changed by them. If we surround ourselves with non-believers only, not only are we going to be exhausted, but it's going to have a negative impact on our life. As a good youth minister friend of mine always loves to say to his group, 1 Corinthians 15:33, do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals. If we surround ourselves with bad company, all the good morals we've taught ourselves, all the Christianese that we know is going to just fly out the door. It won't matter because we'll appeal to those who are around us instead of trying to reach them with the gospel. We must live our lives in a Christian way around those people, and it's not easy. And if we don't surround ourselves with that local group of people that's just going to help us, encourage us, we're going to find ourselves drifting further and further away from God. That's why it's so important for us to be plugged in and involved in a local church, because that gives us a group of people that will come alongside us. They'll encourage us. They'll help us. In those times of need, they're there for us. Whenever we just feel defeated and we're exhausted, we're like, God, why am I in this situation? I'm trying my best, but I just feel so attacked on all cylinders. You'll have a group of people that come around you and say, hey, we love you, we care for you, and God's got big plans for you. Don't give up. Keep fighting. Keep showing the love of Christ to all these people. Not only this, but the local body will support you when you have hard questions. Like whenever you're struggling with your faith, they're there for you to encourage you. Listen, God's not afraid of your hard questions. God is not afraid of the difficult questions you have about Him in your life. He's not. And so why are we as a church often so afraid of some admittedly difficult questions? God isn't afraid. Trust in Him and let the local body come around you and help you with those questions, because sometimes the answer's right there and they're just waiting to give it to you. So they can support you, they can encourage you, and also when you surround yourself with this local body of believers that are going to help you in all these things and just be like-minded believers in what you believe and help you with that, what's going to happen is the same thing that happened to my friend, except the opposite effect, right? They're going to rub off on you, and you're going to rub off on them, and together you're going to be encouraging each other to grow and mature in your faith, and you're going to find yourself in a place that you never thought you could be in your relationship with God, because you've pushed yourself and challenged yourself, and you have people around you who are pushing you and challenging you. When I got into college, I felt like I was doing really well in my faith coming out of my high school years. But by my third year in college, I just felt like, I just don't feel like I've grown much at all. In fact, it feels like I've just stagnated for my entire stint here at USM. So one night I was talking to my college pastor, and he just looked at me and he goes, Brett, I just want to tell you, the growth I've seen in you from your freshman year to now is incredible. You've grown so much. And I was like, what are you talking about, man? I'm like, no, I haven't. In fact, I feel like I've gone backwards. He's like, no, I can promise you I've seen the growth. And I found that oftentimes when we go throughout the day-to-day, we don't see the growth in our lives as much as someone else outside can see it. And so, while it may feel like sometimes, hey, I just feel like I'm not going anywhere, I feel like I'm struggling, I don't feel like I'm growing. When you surround yourself with that local body, you're going to challenge each other and help each other to grow. And maybe it doesn't feel like, hey, you know what, I see myself growing every single day. But I can promise you, you'll rub off on each other and you're going to find yourselves in a place that's so much better than you once were. As an old missions pastor used to tell me, I'm not who I should be, I'm not who I could be, but praise God, I'm not who I used to be. Whenever you surround yourself with believers that are like-minded as you, that will just encourage you and help you to grow in your faith in ways that you couldn't do it by yourself. The local body will also enable you to be used in great ways for God. The local body is awesome at providing opportunities for you to serve, to share your faith, to go on mission trips here in the city and across the world. Being involved in the local body is going to challenge your faith, sure, but it's also going to help you in those hard times. It's going to help you when you're struggling. And it's going to just be an encouragement to you each and every day. So surround yourself with like-minded believers. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. This is kind of a new thing we're trying out, so if you found it helpful, we'd really appreciate a like below, or maybe even a share if you wouldn't mind. And if you have any other questions that you would like answered, feel free to send us a message and we'll try and get to it in a future video. Thanks, have a great day.